Now to our top story, from Milwaukee to the White House, people the world over tonight mourning the loss of Nelson Mandela.
My very first political action, the first thing I ever did that involved an issue or a policy or politics, was a protest against apartheid.
After 27 years in prison, Mandela led the rebellion against South Africa's apartheid government. Eventually, he would become that country's first black president, and in the process, a source of personal inspiration for this country's first black president.
My very first political action, the first thing I ever did that involved an issue or a policy or politics, was a protest against apartheid.
Mandela had been in failing health and spent several months in the hospital this past summer. He died today at the age of 95. It turns out there are several people right here in the Milwaukee area who've had contact with Mandela over the years. CBS 58's John Coco live in the newsroom with more.
Paul, at first glance, Milwaukee and South Africa seem like a distant connection to make. But for the people I spoke with, it's closer than it looks.
There are few, if any, human beings who have lived in the last century who have had as much of an impact on the history of the world as Nelson Mandela.
Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett met Nelson Mandela in the mid-90s during his time in Congress. He still remembers the energy from one of the world's greatest freedom fighters.
I was in awe, and I knew that I was standing with someone who played a major role in the history of the 20th century of this world.
City Treasurer Spencer Coggs also fondly remembers the glow surrounding Mandela when he met him in 1997 in South Africa.
He was the most gracious person imaginable.
Coggs recalls a nickname the country's most inspiring leader was known by.
Everyone in South Africa referred to him not as President Mandela, but as Madiba, as if he were their uncle or he was their grandfather.
Alderman Joe Davis is Wisconsin's consul to South Africa. He released a statement saying, in part, he was a shining example to us all, not only as an inspiring beacon of courage, but as a lesson in forgiveness as well. Congresswoman Gwen, who met Mandela in 2005, also released a statement saying, "Today, we have lost a visionary leader and hero for human rights. Nelson Mandela broke the chains of oppression in South Africa and opened up the hearts and minds of millions."
He's charted a course for the rest of us, so I have to say, rest in peace, Madiba.
Now, the reaction to Nelson Mandela's death was so big here in Milwaukee, there were a number of other statements we just couldn't fit in our story, but we put those up on our website, CBS58.com. Paul?